Hello everyone and welcome to round 2 for the Firehog series. We are here again, first main hog series ever, already in the second week of it, which is crazy. And we're at Claystone Compound, which is becoming a classic track pretty quickly for the hogs. This is going to be the third time it's being raced and the third update of the track as well. So some things are a little bit different, things being changed a little bit. I know this part got changed with the rumble a little bit the last time. I think this might be a little bit different too, not 100% sure. I know that exit rumble wasn't there before, so that's a cool new addition. I like that one. Yeah, this whole like first section being a little bit different than it was in V1. Got updated for V2. I think there's a few other updates for it here in V3. But the main thing in version 3, I'll bring it over here, is the addition of a Joker, which makes sense, you know, rallycross track essentially. So throw a Joker on it, and we found a pretty good spot for one here. Opix threw a Joker down right here, so it's pretty tight coming off the bridge. So you have to slow down pretty heavily. It's kind of tricky to enter in, and then once you get in, it's pretty tricky as well. You got two hefty little hairpins here that you got to be careful for. So long Joker, as per usual. It's very tight. Don't want to go into this thing with two people. It's pretty tricky too. It's a fun little addition in the laps that you get to run it. So definitely pretty nice addition with the Joker there, and then the exit's cool too. You have a Joker jump exit into the racing line, which is one of my favorites. I love when we have those. Reminds me of Road Atlantis' was definitely the most trolly, but I definitely thought that one was pretty fun, even though it was very trolly. But anyways, as we roll through the rest of it's like pretty much the same. So yeah, so that's pretty much it for Claystone. All right, so let's get the lineup going. So we'll go through the heat orders real quick, or I'll say the winners, because I mean going through this is essentially going to be going through the heat orders. But Hunter took the win in the first heat, and Luke took the win in the second heat. So that's the heat wins on the night, and then you know figure out the orders as we go down the order here. All right, so let's go through a starting order for Moto 1. So on the right, it's going to be Hunter. On the left, it's going to be Luke. And then we'll stay that way as we go down the line. So Detail and Soul. And then Camby and Opix. And then Matt and Armada. Matt running purple now. So a little change there. Real Deal and Roman. And then Nuked in the back. And Slaunch was a little late to the call. So he will join in this first moto. But he was a little late to the call on this one. So we're not really going to see him here at the start. But yeah, so lining up for it. So it's going to be 11 laps. The races are a little bit longer in this hog series. I think it fits the hogs better to have the races be a little bit longer. So they're around like 15 minutes, plus or minus like a lap or so, around like 15 minutes on these motos. 15 minutes you can save. Nah, I can't do that. Can't do that. We're not sponsored. Green flag. Not sponsored. Not sponsored. That was a joke. All right. Green flag and battle off the oval turn is a tricky one. Can be some big runs. Definitely similar to what we see on Hog Tona in this turn. Always big runs there, and Hunter will take it in that second little carousel there. We got a 3 wide. You see Slaunch starting to fire up the hog back there, so we'll see how he ends up rejoining, but he's getting back on it here. Again, a little late to the call on this one. Good drifts all around. We're going to go over the bridge. I think Luke actually overtook the lead before that. So I think he's in the lead now. I think it's Hunter second still. Yep, that's what it looks like. Detail going for an early Joker, and I think Opix following him as well. So, and who else? Let's see. Third person was... There we go. So Roman. So Opix, Detail, and Roman going for... Or Detail, Opix, Roman in that order. Going for Jokers early on. A little move here. Matt getting way wide. Oh, save for Nuked right there. That could have been pretty bad. So yeah, 3 drivers going with that interesting early first lap Joker strategy. So we'll see how that works out. And again, your points leader. So this is pretty interesting. I'd have to check. If I figure it out, if I actually do check and I figure it out, I'll put it in the description. But our leader, points leader going into this race is actually Armada, and that's got to be the first time he's leading an HRL in a minute, and honestly maybe ever. I'm not sure. I feel like Armada... Oh, we have a little crash. See what happened? Looked like... Actually, speaking of him, Armada and Camby were involved in that, but Real Deal was the one that cheeses out, ends up spinning out there, so not sure what happened there. Many big battles going on. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to check. I imagine he would have been leading points at some point throughout one of the series, but I'm not 100% sure. But either way, regardless, it's the first time he's been in the points lead in a minute. So that's pretty wild for him, having the points lead after the first round, starting the season off right. Joker usage coming in. That's Hunter. And another one, that's Camby. We'll try to keep track. So Hunter and Camby taking their first. Oh, Hunter gets cheesed. I do kind of want to look at this. So I think I know what happened here probably. You got to be careful on this jump. A lot of the times it seems like you can full gas it, but you want to let off and be kind of careful with it. But let's see. Yeah, sometimes you can get that if you full gas it. Sometimes you can get that weird landing where your nose goes down, and that is unfortunate. So let's see who else took it. Camby took it. It looks like Optics and Detail took it as well, so they're done. Real Deal decides to take it. Let's take another look. Oh! Alright, sorry about that. So yeah, going through this Joker again. This is where Hunter gets cheesed. We'll see this one more time. And we'll see who all takes their Jokers. So again, Camby, Optics, Detail, they're done. Real Deal and Slaunch. So I kind of got checked by that. So I kind of got checked by that a little bit. So I think Optics and Detail are the ones that are done with their Jokers entirely. And I think everybody else was taking it for the first time there. Yeah, I believe that's... Roman also has one Joker down, I will mention. So I believe that's what happened there. I just got checked a little bit. Okay, so let's get an update. So Luke, Soul, that's 1-2. No Jokers taken between them. Armada 3, that's no Joker. Nuked 4th, that's no Joker. Matt 5th, that's no Joker, I believe. So Roman 1 Joker. He's the highest of the 1 Joker people. Camby 1 Joker, I believe. Hunter 1 Joker. And then Optics Detail right there with their 2. And they honestly look like they're in a pretty good position with where they're at compared to the 1 Joker people. Slaunch and Real Deal are both a Joker down here. So, yeah, only a few, like that top 5 or so. I think it is the top 5 that haven't taken any Jokers at all. And then the rest of the pack here has taken, you know, most of them have taken 1. Again, Optics and Detail, 2 down. And look at how separated it gets. Look at how separated it gets. Oh, we have another Joker here. And we have another one, too. So a few of these guys going for their first. Armada. See where he comes out. Behind 1 driver. We'll get an update on that. Matt takes his first. He's going to be behind that pack. Camby is going to be done. Slaunch, going to be done. Real Deal, going to be done. Big group of people done with their Jokers there. So let's get an update on this. So Armada came out here behind Roman. So Roman is actually in front of Armada here. They're both 1 Joker down, and look at that. They're very close battling there, and that could be a points battle that could be brewing too. We'll have to see how you know, how Armada's other races go, but Roman not having it on the oval track. Obviously, Armada getting a big edge there, but Roman usually pretty good on these, so we'll see if we can bring it back. I could see them being top 5 contenders this season. So Luke and Soul still have not taken a Joker, and then Nuked here in 3rd is those are the only 3 that just have not taken them. And look at the gaps that they have. Like their top 3, like they are so far away, which is what you expect at this point. So it'll be interesting as the race goes on, figure out how this goes exactly. So that means Roman is 4th right now. Armada's 5th. And yeah, look at the gaps. Look at the gaps. Like a lot of people going for early Jokers. A lot of people favoring early Jokers. And again, that's the thing I always like about these rallycross races is seeing the Joker strategy. And oh no, who's that? I think that was Armada. He had a weird mistake. Oh, he was under. Please don't cheese me. Okay, he was under a hog there for a moment, and yeah. So you see right there, he got a little squirrely on the exit. Went a little too hard right there. And then he hits a little jump on the side right there, and he kind of like lands like on Hunter, or weirdly ends up on top of Hunter, you can see there. And then it just pops him into a 2-wheel, and man, that is tough. That's going to cost Armada a ton. Like he definitely, even after the mistake, could have, you know, held those guys off and blocked at least. But, you know, obviously now he can't do that. He needs to make up those positions. So that is rough for Armada. That's going to hurt his Moto a ton. He's going to have to run in some pretty good laps here. Hope other people get into big battles. I guess the bright spot for him is he has some good clean air right now, so you know he has a chance of being able to do that. But yeah, that's definitely not going to help his Moto. Looks like the closest cheese on track right now is over in this mid pack over here, so we'll take a look at that. That moves Roman into, well, Roman was already in 4th. That moves Hunter up to 5th. It's Optics and Detail. Let's get on board with them. on board with Detail here. This is 5, 6, 7, but it also kind of isn't. Because, again, Hunter has taken... Oh, wow, that was a big send from Detail there. Hunter has taken 1 Joker. Optics and Detail are done. They were the 2 earliest people to just, you know, decide to go for that early Joker strategy. Like I was saying, we'll see a lot of it this year with the current plans. You know, planning on doing these hogs. Like, we even do Jokers in the GPs a lot of the time. Basically as a substitute for pits, essentially. Just, it's basically why we do Jokers on the GPs is to not have pits to do, but still, like, have the effect, essentially. So we even do Jokers on the GPs here in the hogs. So, you know, we get a lot of Joker action in these races. And so we'll have a lot here. And then later in the year, if the plans stay the same, get some Rallycross action in. And that'll obviously have a lot of Joker strategy too, so that'll be fun. That'll be fun. But again, it's one of my favorite things to watch because I love the mix of it throughout the field. We have a lot of people going for different strategies here. A lot of people taking Jokers early, but not necessarily everybody finishing their Jokers early, which I find interesting. And I also like it too because this track is a very competitive track, and honestly, like most of the tracks in Hogs are like that. That's the thing that I like about the Hogs so far is that like basically all the tracks that we race in the Hogs have some form of skill gap, and on this one it's like, oh my god, Detail is really sending it in the carousel there, both laps in a row. Yeah, it's like it's not always obvious, but there's good skill gaps in like pretty much all these tracks, and even on this track, there's turns where like you don't expect it. So, like, for example, this bridge turn. I think there's actually, like, a pretty big skill gap in that turn. And it just looks like a simple right-hander, right? It just looks like a simple right-hander. But if you set up for it properly and you angle it properly, you can make up a lot of time there. And that applies to a lot of the sections on this track. So yeah, I like this track a lot. I think there's a lot of turns that low-key have pretty big skill gaps, don't necessarily appear like it, but they do. And it makes it interesting. It's nice when you have a track like this that's super long, has a long lap time, lots of different sections, but you actually, like, pay attention, you know? You actually care about all the sections because there's so much time to be made. So I like that about this track. I think it keeps it interesting, and I think it's why it keeps returning. For the Hogs here. I like this battle that we're having between Optics and Detail. This is sick here. Look at that outside run. Maybe we got to get the oval variant of Claystone as well. That run is insane. Oh, they're making it work. Dude, I think they both have a run on Hunter as well here, which is hilarious too. Oh, and Detail spins out on the outside. He's going for it that entire time. Just unfortunately couldn't hold on to it into the carousel that time. That was a pretty sweet battle between them, and it's honestly still raging on because Optics is catching Hunter, so Detail will probably be back in the fight before we know it. This seems to be battle of the race so far. Keeping an eye on those checkpoints. We're actually getting close to the end, so I should probably say that. So 111 is the checkpoint we're looking for here. That'll be the last checkpoint of the race. Oh yeah, that battle is just absurd right now. That battle is absurd, and that battle, I think Soul and Nuked right here are going to be big fans of that battle. Now, I think Luke might have a pretty good gap for first here. I think Soul's done with a Joker, and I think Nuked isn't, so I think Soul actually has a pretty decent gap for second as well. But for Nuked, all this battling could make things interesting for him, even though I think he has both Jokers to go. I think all this battling here could potentially keep him in that top 5 fight, even though, you know, beforehand he probably was looking at like a 6th place or something, but yeah, all the battling could keep it interesting. And again, Optics and Detail going at it in the oval turns again. Oh, it's such a difficult turn. They keep it nice and clean. Oh, and it's Hunter. Oh, this could be a big moment in the race. It's Hunter that spins out this time. And Detail was able to make the pass on Optics here, but the tricky thing is Hunter did not mess up enough. Oh, wow, that was pretty sick. Detail keeping it clean around the outside. Low-key looked like he might have actually picked up time on Hunter, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. He's going to have to concede it here at the bridge, but he needs to try to get in front of Optics. It's not going to happen. It's going to bring Optics back to the inside. Detail, if he can hold on around the left, he may be able to keep that spot, but he's not going to be able to. Had an opportunity there, but just barely wasn't able to get it. And their battle rages on, and Hunter's still not going for that last Joker, so it's going to be spicing up these top 5 positions for sure. And then there's Roman, who I would imagine he kind of had to. Would have taken his second Joker somewhere while this battle was happening. So Roman takes that. He pulls in right behind this. So all this Hunter cheesing them down might be helping Roman catch up and open up his hopes for a top 5. So there's lead right there. There's Soul right there. There's Nuked right there.
Lap complete.
So those are the gaps, but again, those drivers, Soul might have a Joker down. I'm not. Oh, big moment. Big moment. It was Hunter hitting the outside wall right there, and nobody could find the way around. Nobody could find the way around. This is a big mistake, but it doesn't end up resulting in anything. Nobody was prepared for that. We're able to find the line on that. Roman's entering the fray, and this is the battle of the Moto here for sure. Been going on like the entire race, and it seems like it's going to go on to the end. Oh, Opic's getting a little too close to Hunter's bumper. But again, like every time these mistakes happen, the guy behind just isn't in position. There, Hunter finally takes it. Now that'll spice things up in its own way because these guys have been battling regardless, so now they don't have to worry about Hunter. If they make a pass, they've got clean air. See where Hunter comes out. Oh, that was Armada right there. So Hunter came out in front of that whole pack. So Armada taking his second Joker, and he's in a battle with Real Dull Camby. So there's a little battle there, too. There's a bunch of little packs. Unfortunately, there's a few drivers that are soloed off, but there's a lot of little packs and pairs that we got going on the track right now, and we're getting pretty close to the end. Getting pretty close to the end here. 2 to go on track. Oh! Unfortunate mistake there for Nuked. Good save. Could have been worse. But that's going to cost him some time, and I mean, I imagine with his Jokers that he still has to go. I believe that's probably going to cheese him out of this chance that he had. It still might have been a pretty rough chance, but there was a chance. But now he might be cheesed out. I think Detail just made the move there too. We'll see if we can find that. Okay, I figured another dive on the carousel. He's been. It just seems like a lot more aggressive in that turn than everybody else has been in this pack, and finally able to make the move stick. Doesn't have Hunter in front, so he's able to stay in front of Opix here. And that's one of those turns, though, like where again, like low key, it doesn't seem like it has, too much of a gap, but you can make a lot of gains. There's definitely better ways to take that carousel turn. Opix having a better run though, leading into the bridge. That could make things interesting. Jokers coming out. You see Soul and Nuked took theirs, and I imagine Luke probably took his as well. Oh, and Nuked comes out in the pack, but I believe that's his. I think it's his first. It might have been his second. It actually might have been his second. If it was his second, then that mistake is tragic. But we'll see. I'll have to wait and see here in a moment. Because yeah, if it was his second, then that mistake is super tragic looking back. Still a 4-way battle. Raging on. Top 3 to top 5, but Luke going to be taking the white flag here one more time around. And Soul with a big gap in second here too. Soul with plenty of good races on these RXs and GPs and the Hogs, and it's looking like he'll probably be able to put in another one here too. He's not the most super consistent on them, but he's pretty consistent. He hasn't been too bad, and he's had a lot of good podiums and some wins here there too. And yeah, it's looking like he'll probably pick another one up here. Trying to keep a nice wide shot on all these battles. Oh, there's moves being made right there on Camby, I believe. I want to see these Jokers. I don't know if Luke... He must have finished both, so... In the 2 laps prior. I believe Soul did the same thing. Yeah, they finished... They didn't want to risk messing it up, so they finished theirs early. Okay, he still had another one to go. So not as tragic. Not as tragic. Yeah, he probably would have gotten passed up anyways. But maybe that position right there on Hunter, I'd say he probably would have been in front of Hunter. So yeah, that just goes to show that little mistake ends up costing him a spot. Looks like the battles are finally settling out. Been raging on the entire Moto. But we're bringing it around town for the last time. 11 laps at Claystone coming to an end here. Luke's going to take the win for Moto 1. Soul coming across the line in second. And Detail will end up taking that 3rd place. Roman must have made a move there. I think he got around Opix there at the end too. They'll take top 5s. Hunter then nuked. And then looks like Real Deal Armada Camby. It might have been Armada making the move on Camby there at the end potentially. And then Slunch and Matt coming across the line. Get the line up here. So yeah, pretty intense first race, especially for that top 5 battle was pretty nice the whole way through. But yeah, definitely the start, the Joker strategy, and heat race performance. The 3 things that, you know, not that hard to predict, as you probably could have expected. Those 3 things playing a pretty big role in this one, I think. But yeah, so that rounds it out for first moto here. And we'll get started with the second one here in a moment. It'll be 2 Jokers, 11 laps. Again, but one more time, your podium for that first moto was Luke, then Soul, then Detail. Podium spots for Moto 1. All right, let's see you guys in Moto 2.